Good evening, everybody. Dadman Wonky 55 here, coming to you well late. I am sorry, 7 minutes late, 7 minutes after 8 o'clock. I apologize, but I had a last second phone call from a great friend that I absolutely had to take. And so blame me for the tardiness. It's my fault, and it's okay. I will take the, I don't know. I'll have to ask the panel how this goes in this universe. But let me not dawdle any further. Thank you, Daisy, for doing this. And of course, my normal monthly co host, Daisy Blossom. How are you, Daisy?
Quite well.
This
Shall
is
we
all
send you to Rurapente?
that's not
It
the one in this movie, is it?
Yeah, it's Rurapente. This
Oh,
is from one in this movie, yes.
can I repent without going there?
Probably.
Okay. I love your laugh. I love your guys, folks. This is a wonderful night. I don't know. I'm really not focused. I'm really kind of all over the place. So, but Daisy, how have you been lately? I know we missed last month, so we rescheduled this to this month. So I'm sure you're looking forward to this, right?
Yes, yes. That
Yep.
that the last month was a tad my fault, so I get to go visit you on Rurapente for being in trouble.
It's
I
okay.
got quite ill, so I apologize, chat, for this being a month late.
Oh well, wait till they see what's coming up in the next 2 months that we have planned. So, but hey, but it's
Shh.
shh. All right. Well, I do have to reveal it's October. I don't have the slide for it, but I can say what it is at the end of the stream.
Of course, of
All right.
course.
But without further ado, because this is such a valued property, since I don't know much about what I'm talking about in the Star Trek realm, Daisy's the expert, but we also have the back for an encore performance. He knows his stuff. The man that came on and showed his face live on the stream for the first time, because when I said Rathacon was meh, yeah, seriously, it was really freaky when you just saw the camera and the face pop up. It was like, wow, that's like the time I played Yahtzee with my dad when I was probably about 8 or 9, and we the roll went bad. I went F. He looked at me, did it again. It was
Mhm.
bad. I went F. He stopped, took his glasses off, and looked at me like, "Boy, where'd you get that from?" But hey, long-winded introduction. I don't know where that went or where it's going to, but bring in the captain himself, JT Kirk. Hello, Captain Kirk.
F.
Please save us, Captain. Please,
F.
you're our only hope.
Yes. Oh, now you mix franchises. Don't cross the franchises. But JT,
I
what would be a good plan for discipline for my tardiness?
I think you should have to recite all of Hamlet in the original Klingon.
Oh, oh, definitely. I'm here
I
for
think
that.
that's a fitting punishment.
To
It's
be
that
or
or
not to be?
Rurapente. You pick.
Ta pach ta be.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. See, Daisy
That
Daisy knows what I'm saying. Yep.
Mm. That's cool.
Well, there is one part that I talked so I'm sorry, sidebar here. Um
Mhm.
Hmm.
my son Liam actually used to be able to speak passable Klingon. He
Whoa.
learned it. So I contacted him and said, "I think this is to be or not to be." And he goes, "I think so too, but I forget." So
Oh, yeah, I get it now.
JT is going to have to tell me if I did that right or
that's
not.
that's what that was. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Well, we thought it
Exactly.
was.
Okay, I get it now. I'd have to be like Christopher Plummer was in this movie. That was Chang. Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
he's the one that said it.
Yes, I know. Well, we will talk a
Chang,
little bit.
comma PF. Yes.
Mm.
Exactly.
Yep. So we'll get there, but let's greet the chat real quick before we jump
Yes,
into
indeed.
this. So, all right. So, Snortopoopas Cuber is here. I'm sorry. Penny is first. Penny beat Snortopoopas to the first spot in the poll. Hey, good to see you, Penny. Hope you're still here with us. Sorry for any delays. Hello, humans and other critters. The great bear of Florida himself. Hope you're batting down the hatches down there and you're ready for whatever comes. Because we have, well, it's not yet developed, but it's forecast to be a major hurricane uh, to, over the next 2 days coming into the state of Florida. So But hey, hopefully it stays west enough of you and you just get wind and rain and avoid the flooding. Good to see you snort a poopas and hope you're doing well from the dentistry. The most beautiful Bombay cat on the internet is Binks there. Daisy Blossom. Hello.
Hello.
And she's waving a paw at Snort a poopas. Thank you, Mrs. Also, for covering for me there. I appreciate it. Like I said, I had a call that I really had to take. Thank y'all for your patience and hell to JT who's come in too. So with us and Brogu. Hello, Brogu. How are you doing? Good to see you tonight. So yeah, how is everybody doing? I think we're doing pretty good here. How about you guys out in the chat? So let's see. I don't think I missed anybody, but JPR.
I just had pumpkin pie. I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, I bet you are. Yes, I bet you are. Or an apple pie made from Michigan apples, I guess. Lots of polar bear on Ruripente. Yep. Okay. Well, that's the planet of punishment that I've got. Oh, don't try to scare him with a good time. Thanks. Oh, this should be a good movie. Oh, yes, it was. I'll tell you what I think. Brogu's FF. Bird of Prey 5. Let's see who else we got. Let's see. Okay, I'm a human. All right. Yes, cats can wear Starfleet uniforms because cats can do any damn thing they want to. You know, have you ever tried to train a cat? Or how many YouTube streams have you seen where the the cat takes over the stream? I mean, if there's a camera, the cat's there. If there's a keyboard, the cat is there. Yeah, cats are jerks. Well, you might have a cat.
I beg your pardon, sir or madam.
Awesome jerks. Okay.
True.
All right. So, well, we have gotten through the chat that are here. We got 11 with us. Please hit that 9 on the YouTube side. So hit that like button, subscribe, share it out if you can. We got 2 on the Switch side. We are at 126 followers on the Twitch side. So hopefully, you guys are awesome. I'm really got to focus tonight. You guys, this movie, we're talking about Star Trek 6, the Undiscovered Country, was the last of the movies starring the entire original cast. And it's came out in 1991 and, really has always stuck to me as the franchise Star Trek movie that I liked before Wrath of Khan. Because JT, your avatar is really intimidating. It's like it's staring at me.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's like crazy. But it's the one movie I'd always held to, maybe because it was older when I came, I don't know, but it was a movie that always I liked. Maybe the plot line and different action and a lot of the bang bang pew pew that was not a lot, but it was right at the end. It was really dramatic. It had some of those 1990s, 1980s themes, the Cold War stuff like that. We'll get into. I know about here. Just really held my interest. It was it's the movie that of all of them that I liked the most until I rewatched Wrath of Khan and I understood and I appreciate Wrath of Khan a lot more. So let me go to Daisy, you first. When did you, because Cronus actually asked if anybody had seen this in theater. So did either of you see this in theater? What was your first exposure to this movie? And what are your first thoughts when you saw it the first time, Daisy?
Okay, yes, I did see it in the theater because I am a really old cat. And so that was actually December of 91. So we would have gone to see this as an early birthday present for me, my husband and I. And I cannot remember whether we took Liam, my son, or not. We might have because he would have been old enough. And he liked Star Trek and Star Wars. I liked the movie. Now, I have a bias to The Wrath of Khan, which I think ever so slightly for me outdoes this one. But I did very much like this because, as I said, I am an older kitty cat lady, and I was around during the Cold War, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think
And
that's
the
why it was
originals,
relatable too.
yeah, the original series was going on and being shown and
Mm-hmm.
had themes of the Cold War. So, um, yeah, this is a very good movie. I have a special place in my heart for the other ones. So,
Mm-hmm. JT.
I definitely saw this after the theatrical release, probably 2, 3 years later on home video from Blockbuster.
Mm.
Yeah.
mm,
Yep. Probably on a Saturday, I would guess. Saturday night, because everybody rents those VHS tapes for the weekend, right? Um,
hmm
so I was definitely around for this, but I was probably 6 or 7 when it actually released in theaters. So it's not like I could get myself there too easily. So
Mm-hmm.
I missed the release in the original aspect ratio and all of the things that go with seeing it in the theater back then, which was a significantly better experience than watching things at home. I think
hmm
people forget that sometimes. So there is quite a bit lost to this. And I kind of wish that I could see this in a theater because I think the music and the larger the screen you watch it on have something to do with it to make this movie that much better than what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're trying to watch it at home.
Well, yeah, and you're hanging out with hopefully your audience are fans of the series, and so that's you're in a whole theater full of people who want to see this. They're into Star Trek and they want to see the latest movie, and that's a very cool thing. Which, yeah, we've kind of lost a bit. The whole movie experience is very different
Mm.
now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did not have people playing on their cell phones.
Yeah. Or bringing kids to the audience. Did parents bring small children to audience to movies back then, or is that just a
only
recent
if they
development?
only if they were well behaved. And if they did bring a little one and they started to act up, the parents took them out. Usually mom.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, but where I was, that's how it was. There was a bit more awareness of the people around you um,
Yeah.
than there is now.
Yep. Yeah. So, and I keep forgetting JT's so much younger than us because it's
I
but
remembered.
yeah, but see, I didn't go to a lot of movies growing up. You know, it was not till teenagers when I
Yeah.
got to go, and so it wasn't a big deal when it happened. Max said he saw it premiere, even the cheering was raucous and glorious. So, oh,
hmm
but see, someone had a real dinkus. Oh yeah, I hate that. Like the lady that couldn't stop laughing during I Am Legend that ruined it for the missus. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh boy, Brogu saw a motion picture in the theater. That's a long time
Yeah.
ago. That one I would have slept through. I
No,
look.
no.
I knew there were parts about Khan. I needed to try to give it a shot. I do not think I could ever watch motion picture again. But hey, that's okay.
My father and I were so disappointed. Since we'd watched the original on TV, we were so disappointed with the motion picture.
I bet. Yeah, I bet. And Max liked the movie because of the Cold War analogy, not despite it. I agree. That's exactly why. It was
Hmm.
relevant. You could see it on both sides. Loved the score to the movie. So
Mhm. Mhm. The music was great.
yes. So okay. So I think I caught up with a W your pleasure, W your Kirk's Kapla panel. Kapla. 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 Yeah, I Am Legend. Yeah, that one. It was actually pretty good. I liked it. So, yes, big question, a big quote here. Recorded. I don't trust Klingons. I've never forgiven them for the death of my boy. But hey,
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
understand, Captain. I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it was made in 1991. It was directed by Nicholas Meyer, who directed The Wrath of Khan. I wonder if there's a connection by the director, having the same director, and it seems like I like both movies. is a final film, like I said, featuring the entire main cast of the original television series. We actually see in here one of the cast members on the Excelsior that was actually in the original TV series uh, that I saw a little bit earlier. The
Mhm.
destruction on the Klingon moon Praxis led the Klingon Empire to pursue peace with the Federation when the explosion of actually the explosion was going to cause the death of their worlds, and so they had to try to make peace with the Federation, which of course was unheard of and a thought to your militant Klingons, and also even to a lot of your untrusting militant Federation members. So um, it was released in North America on December 6, 1991. It got positive reviews and opening weekend, of course, of the series. It earned 96.8 million worldwide, earned 2 Oscar nominations for Best Makeup, Best Sound Effects, and the only Star Trek movie to win the Saturn Award for Best Science Fiction Film. So,
I don't know what all these other award shows were watching all those
yeah,
other years, but okay.
but
You
that's
know they
yeah,
don't like sci-fi movies. Those
no,
aren't real movies. We don't give awards to them except for makeup and costumes.
yes,
Right.
exactly. So it sets in the year 2293, the USS Excelsior. We see Captain by Sulu now. He's got his own ship. He observes the destruction of Praxis and is basically prompted. They offer assistance, told go mind your own business, go fly a kite. And then we move off to a meeting on Earth. And then we find JT Kirk coming in. As we know that Kirk's son, David, was murdered by Klingons.
Yep.
And they come into a top secret Federation meeting where it is revealed that they are to meet the Chancellor, the Klingon ambassador, Chancellor Glorkin, to bring him to a site for peace talks, the negotiations on Earth. And of course, when Kirk raises objections and distrust, guess who gets to bring him to? Guess who gets to bring him to the peace conference, the negotiation? James T. Kirk does. The Federation ambassador. We find out was kind of a cool reveal. What did y'all think with this? Where you hadn't seen Spock at that point. We see Sulu, we see Bones, and we see Kirk, and then you don't see Spock. Then all of a sudden, coming in to make the briefing is Spock, who actually went on record for Kirk. How did you like that reveal, or did you find it predictable?
I didn't like it. We know that Spock's father is a full ambassador, so why not have his father give the speech?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know why Spock has to brief. Basically, and the Federation president isn't there. The Federation president should have been in the room, I felt like. And then Ambassador Spock. I don't think it's right to just have a bunch of military guys around the table and then Captain Spock just talking. I don't see that as a great way to bring that about. I saw it as too convenient, too cheap with the people. Get somebody to play Spock's father and have him play that role and have him go on the ship. It would have put, I know Nimoy had a writing credit along with Gene Roddenberry on this. I think he inserted himself in this situation. I don't have proof to back that up, but it seems like the most likely reason why Spock is giving that briefing at all in the briefing room. And I thought it was I don't want to say out of character for Spock to do, but it would not have fallen to his responsibility.
Right.
I don't see why a chancellor of the Klingon Empire would be reaching out to a science officer in Starfleet to talk to. I just do not see that. And like I said, a full ambassador and the president should be there for that type of thing. I feel like, yeah, and then just to have Kirk sitting in there, I don't know. I did not like that scene, if you can't tell already. Also, another nitpick of mine, I do not like the uniforms of the top brass who have their their boards with all the different places, all their different tours that they've been in on those Starfleet uniforms, because
Right.
nobody else has them. Why do they get those? It's not
Yep.
like they're in different uniforms than what Kirk is in. So it makes no sense from that point of view. I know what they were trying to do visually. I just don't think I think it backfires if you really want to nitpick.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, it makes sense. There seem valid comments there. And hi, Sashi. Passing by, drop a like. Can't hang long. Oh, Sashi, we hope you're feeling better. I heard about your car accident today in the Mrs. Chat. So I hope you're feeling okay tonight. So, and a couple of these comments that we've also had earlier on, I've highlighted a little bit. Okay, I want to come back to one of them real quick, but I want to go further a little bit with the plot as we do normal formats. They rendezvous Kirk with the battle cruiser with Gorkin, and then after dinner, it looks like the Enterprise fired torpedoes on the ship, disabling gravity. Two Starfleet spacesuits and magnetic boots go aboard this Klingon ship, killed some of the crew members, and mortally wound Gorkin before escaping. Of course, Kirk surrenders to avoid armed conflict with Dr. McCoy to try to save Gorkin's life. The Chancellor still dies, not familiar with the Klingon anatomy. So, Chief of Staff General Chang arrests Kirk and tries him and McCoy for the assassination. All right, before we go further with that, I bring that point up to say this part here. Snortapoopa said his one quibble with Star Trek 6 was the color of the Klingon blood, Daisy. They did that to avoid a more restrictive rating, but don't you see that color in any other track? But you don't see that in the color of that track. What did you call it earlier, Daisy?
Pepto-Bismol pink.
Like like the stomach stuff.
Well,
always stunning. Good to see you.
When it's floating, it's supposed to be the color violet, which
right. Oh, that's
I have. Yeah. I'm an artist. I see lots of colors. I wouldn't call that violet, but when it splats and he's laying on the table, I'm going, I'm sorry, that's Pepto-Bismol pink, and it's gross. You should have made it blue or green or something.
Yeah. By the way, stunning saying you're looking handsome tonight. So
yes, indeed. Inhale.
Yes. Oh gosh, that Sashi, that was a bad wreck then. He said a saved his thick skull might be part Klingon. Well, whatever. Glad you're still with us tonight. So hey, Star Poopa said Kirk's ribbons wouldn't have fit on his jacket.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Like they in the original series, the only time on the TV show, right? The only time you see something like that is when they're doing like the court-martial proceedings, and either against Kirk, or they have like the trial with the whole retelling of them. I'm sorry, I'm totally drawn up stream brain here when they're going over what happened on the planet with the folks that control your brain. I know people are going to kill me in chat for this.
Oh, from Wrath of Khan, right?
No. Daisy, help me out here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was reading chat about the car accident thing on Sashi. Please take it easy. What are you asking me?
The cage. But
not
the cage.
Yes. The big brained. Oh my gosh. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I'm having total stream brain. Anyway, it's it's the menagerie. Thank you.
Oh, you were looking for the name. I thought you were looking for the name of the aliens.
Oh, no. I guess no. My central point to this was the only time that you see them with any type of ribbons or insignia other than just the Starfleet insignia is when they're doing official proceedings with the dress uniform. And so having the ribbons on just the top brass, they're not wearing dress uniforms.
No. But by the way, your buddies out here, yes.
Yeah, yes. I know. He's giving me a hard time.
Is it Talosians?
Talosians,
yeah.
All right, thank you, Max.
They did make an emphasis on making this a bit more militaristic for the Federation because it was a Cold War analogy. So, yeah, the ribbons was probably too much of a nod to that and not necessary. We got it.
Yes. Oh gosh. Snort Poop said no one wore any ribbons on the dress uniforms in TNG. No,
Right.
but they had Spanx counselor chick with her. Anyway, I'll stop. But hey,
Excuse me? What did
everybody,
you say about Deanna Troy?
she had the weirdest bodysuits. It's just a thing, and of course, don't get me started on Mr. Libido guy that'll end up endangering the ship at a moment's notice. But hey, blame adult beverages. Yes.
Well,
So,
there's plenty of that to go around in this movie.
yeah, it is.
Romulan
It is.
ale.
Hey, yes, we do. And that was interesting. I need to go through the further, but we talked about the Romulan ale that they had at the dinner. But it was one of the scenes that really jumped out to me earlier was early, their face of the retirement, and Bones comes over, and him and Jim are just sitting there, just chatting away like two friends. People that know that the final days are here, and they're just kind of commiserating over the old times and where things are going in the future. I thought that was kind of a cool scene where you actually see the two characters develop and interact each other outside of the actual ship itself. Like two friends.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
So it was a little bit. It was different because you always see them on the bridge. You always see them on the ship, though. And I guess that's part of the episodic televisions. But we actually got to see them, and not on a planet in an away mission where they were just actually off duty,
so
just having fun or
I have
hanging together.
Have you seen the other movies with this crew? Because they do that to some extent in the movies with the
They do
original
go to
crew.
San Francisco.
Yeah,
Oh, I did see this.
they go rock climbing on Half Dome or something.
Oh man, no, I've not seen those movies.
Oh,
I've not. I've seen 1, 2, and 6. Those are the only ones that I've seen. So
you gotta watch Save the Whales.
I can't. I mocked that movie so bad as a teenager. There's no way.
Come on now.
No, I
Golden Gate
didn't.
Park has never
Next.
looked so good.
So
Whatever.
one of my whole
it
things
didn't age
about-
well in 30 years. Yes, JT, go ahead.
One of my whole things about this briefing too is that, and a lot of people don't like this movie, and this scene is the major culprit of it, because after that moves on, it's kind of not the point anymore of the film. But the whole thing is meant to basically copy the Cold War with Chernobyl.
Yeah.
In praxis being the same thing.
Yes.
Being younger and seeing that the first time, I didn't really understand what they were even referencing, right? Because I was probably 8 or something like that, right? I don't really have a problem with it, but I know some of our fellow Star Trek fans, past and present, did not like this because it was politics in their Star Trek. I don't necessarily see it that way as a bad thing. I just have an issue with where is Praxis in relation to the Klingon homeworld. They make it sound like it is the moon around the homeworld that in 50 years, because of the pollution or the radiation, their whole atmosphere is just going to dissipate.
Yeah. It's like one planet in a big galaxy.
Yeah, right. So I have 2 problems with that. One, there are many planets around that have dilithium all over the place. Right. The Empire's not done. It's like saying, oh, the one oil well in Russia is done, so now they have no more oil. No, that's not how it works, right? There's oil all over the world. There's dilithium all over the galaxy. Even if it was Chernobyl, Russia, the Soviets still had plenty of nuclear power stations all over the place. It wasn't the fact that they didn't have as much electricity that was the real issue. The second thing is with this, the power, the energy wave from the moon having that detonation. First, you think like the whole moon detonated out.
Right.
And then you see the picture and that's not true. Second, The whole, if it were really the moon of Kronos, then it would have blown up the planet, like just taking a
Yes.
massive chunk out of the planet. They never say it that happens. We never see that any time after in TNG or any other time. And the third problem I have with this is, look, where Sulu is not going to be anywhere near the Klingon homeworld. They have, they have light years and light years in between them. The dissipation in energy from that, if the Klingon homeworld is still, not completely vaporized and that moon is still intact, they aren't even going to feel like the slightest bump. Like that energy wave is going to be totally dissipated. So I have all kinds of like, where is everything? What's going on? This is really confusing. It doesn't make sense even in their own film, and I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like that.
Right.
So
Well,
by the time you get to the
seriously
briefing, you're already so damn confused that you're like, okay, what's going on here? And then it's like, oh,
well,
they're just trying to shove it into the boots of the Cold War.
Let's take Max's comment here on flag because he said practice blowing up, creating an environmental disaster did not make sense. However, as an analogy to the Cold War, it was appropriate as the Soviets' collapse was caused by its oil industry collapsing. So there, you talk about the politics, the world politics bleeding over into it. So what you're saying is a lot of Star Trek fans did not like that element in it, even though with the modern day draw into the franchise.
Well, I think what JT is, so I'm not speaking for you. You can say no. Is that a lot of Star Trek fans tried to get their heads around some of the more scientific-y science fiction. And so things in general tried to make sense. Now, in the original series, it was the 60s. There were a lot of things they didn't know. So they tried to play with it. So as a Star Trek fan going into the movie, your science part of your brain, not the fiction part, the science part of your brain is going, oh, wait. If, like he said, if it's a moon and it blows up, it's going to take out their homeworld. And that wave going outwards, the Excelsior wouldn't have been that close to the Klingons because that would have started an interstellar war if they had been that close.
Right.
So it's a little, and then I don't mean this to be mean. It's not always about the pew pew with the Star Trek fans.
Right.
And so your brain starts to go, okay, I get what you're trying to do. I understand this is Cold War and you're trying to get there and you're trying to kind of get there as quick as you can. And then we can move into the movie. But sometimes it's hard to just go, well, that's not really why I watch Star Trek. I want some of the science and the thises and the that's to make sense.
Okay.
And, well, you may not know, when Clover and Times did talk about this movie, doing the reviews coming around, he was not a fan of this scene in these politics in the film. I just, unfortunately, we can't probe his thoughts any further on that. But if you go back and watch the stream, he lays out a very good argument for why he did not like the politics in there. I can totally empathize with that whole thing. I just think that making it with those many parallels, okay, it's kind of lazy, I think. But I don't think it aged terribly either. It's kind of a little bit of both sides of it, right? I can appreciate it for what it is now, so many years after the fact, especially, with Russia being what they are now today, right? I see this as such a different time that it has faded enough from memory where I don't mind it. I just wish they had written it a little bit smarter, getting them into that room, right? Praxis, it didn't have to be Praxis. It could have been Planet 52B in some nebula somewhere, right?
Right.
Well, and it was a different time because, the wall was coming down and the Soviet Union was not the Soviet Union anymore and becoming just Russia. And there was the whole, can we be friends now, or at least try to be? I think that's what the whole thing was trying to show. When they were saying lines like, if there is peace, it's our generation, the older generation, that's going to have the hardest time accepting it, because they went through the we don't like each other phase. Klingons and the Federation, no thank you. And now we're going to try to pretend or make nice. And so it was a different time when it was released. But it hasn't aged too terribly badly.
No, but it's kind of funny that this is the one that I like the best. Hearing these comparisons with the Star Trek fans that poked holes in it, that didn't like certain elements. It's like I've always said that I don't quite fit into the true sci-fi, the true Star Trek as lore goes and stuff, but it's kind of like I know what I like when I see it. And the ones that I've really liked have had some elements of the weaponization, the modern politics, something to relate to. But I can understand why some people do not like it, especially any type of politics. It can get kind of crazy though. But let's see. Somebody liked bear hug. So Croner said, "I don't trust Finn's bear hug." Oh gosh. Yep. So, and Mr. Niblick saying his thoughts exactly being that weird generation gap where we didn't really have the worry of the Cold War. If you don't take a social commentary to it, it's pretty decent. But I will tell you, as social commentaries go, I don't. Maybe it was just me. Probably if it was Star Wars, I'd feel differently. I didn't think that they were too heavy-handed with the preachiness. Because I think that they presented a realistic situation at the end. And we'll try to come back to that a little bit later. Let me finish going through the order of the movie
There
first.
is definitely more I want to say about that.
Yes, exactly.
For the ending of the movie, right?
Yeah. So let's finish that, and then we will get back to that. So, all right. But so we have the assassination. Of course, Kirk surrenders as goes, and we see our first Lieutenant Worf. He's their lawyer. Yes, yes.
Quote unquote Colonel Worf, his
Colonel
grandfather.
Worf, yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure they wrote that after the fact.
Yeah. Well,
when they realized, oh shit, this guy that we've had playing on TNG for 4 seasons, you can tell it's him without even seeing him. You're like, oh, that's Michael Dorn's voice.
The voice.
So that was Worf's grandpa.
That's what's been written.
Yeah.
I just have thought it was Lieutenant Worf.
Correct. That's what you thought. If you didn't, then they went, oh wait, oops.
Well, they got life imprisonment, so without not to be unexpected on the ice planet where if you leave or thrown to the surface, you will die. They arrived at the Rura Pente mines and were immediately befriended by a shapeshifter named Martia, that whole thing was interesting because Kirk had to fight to get some respect in there. Then the shapeshifter comes over, kind of helps them out, tells them where to go. Then, of course, in the middle of the night, we got Kirk and McCoy just bunking out, and then all of a sudden, Martia comes by. Pulls the womanly charms at the moment, womanly charms, and smooches on Kirk, and you can just see Dr. McCoy with his "oh dear God, Jim" again look.
Yes,
it's like why here? Again, can you not control it? We call you Will Riker, then. So they follow Martia. They get out, escape, and then that's when we get the double cross. Out in the middle of the snow drifts and stuff, and we see the double cross because Martia reveals it. But what happens is that Kirk takes the cue when Martia pulls out that glow rod thing to set a fire there, and he's like, he just punches the shit however, and Bones like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "It's a fake." And of course, with the glow rod thing, they knew they were being tracked at that point. Of course, they're being set up to be eliminated out with no witnesses and all that stuff, as was discussed in the scene. And one of the greatest scenes that I love, yeah, I think Kirk Shatner probably had to love that scene because it was kind of like he was in a scene where he's making fun of himself the whole time. The comment, "Well, you kissed me, I dream of yours." Just the whole banter between the two of them.
And it's a far better fight scene than what's in the next movie with Kirk as well.
Oh yeah,
far better. I would say it's one of the best fight scenes that Kirk does. Period.
I love the humor. I love the way they used humor in time in the middle of it. Like, of course, when the Klingon commander's there, he's like, "Oh, who's what?" And then Kirk's like, "No, he's the bad." Points at the other, and the other points, "No, him." And then I thank God he blasts the right Kirk.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah.
Then we have one
that would have sucked if not.
That would have been bad.
And then we have one, the ultimate. And it was great to see it. Probably the last time, like I said, last movie with the original crew, you got the great scene with Kirk as the bad guy's about to reveal the whole plot. Yeah, and who wanted them dead with no witnesses and teleport time. And then you got the classic JT Kirk rant. "Dang it, we were so close. Why did you do that? Why Spock? Why Spock now? You're so close to finding it out." And it's like, but it was like that classic Kirk rant of, "Spock, I love you, but I want to strangle you for, your timing sucks." I mean, that was I thought that whole transition in there. Did y'all have any thoughts on that? And hi to Connie Cleary.
Hello.
Hey. Did y'all have any? Yeah, go ahead, Daisy.
It was predictable. It's cute. It is cute, but it was like, okay.
It wasn't predictable when I was 8, but I think
okay,
that's
I'm
your
sorry.
point.
I was a little older than 8 when I saw it.
Right. But I think that's your point. You got to wake up pretty early in the morning for them to pull one over the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Of a Trek fan.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, yeah, okay.
Now, what did y'all think of the? We can come back to any of these scenes as we skip over if there's things that you have in your notes that you want to talk about. But we keep moving forward because now they're trying to. Kirk's back on board. They're really. Spock had started an investigation. They actually found the one. "Oh, hey, here's Boots, this guy," and he had these web feet. And then when Kirk's back on board, Spock had determined they did not fire the torpedoes. And then all of a sudden, just after they got back on, we found 2 of the assassins dead, killed by another unknown accomplice, So, and, you're like, okay, where are we square one? So then they pulled a good ruse. I thought it was a cool ruse. I don't know if y'all thought it was predictable, but they called for a court reporter to go to the med bay to take statements from the 2 that had been killed, and which is kind of weird that now that I thought about it, it's like, well, if the one in charge really knew, why would they go into the med bay? But basically, maybe they thought they survived or something. I don't know.
That was the point.
Yeah,
that was the point. They wanted to try to tell whoever was the assassin that they were still alive and going to reveal who pew-pewed at them, and so that's why it would draw them out to try and get rid of them before,
Right. And that's where we find out that Valeris, Kim, not Kardashian, Kim Cattrall, mannequin lady, Spock's protege, was behind it all. Now, let me ask you this, okay, because I think right here we have a scene with, is it controversial or not? Because she wouldn't talk. She had the military discipline. She was not going to talk. So Kirk gave the order. Spock had to do the force mind meld.
Yeah,
where we learn that it's a mixture of Federation, Klingon, and Romulan all coming together that did not want peace, that wanted to keep hostilities with each other to sabotage the peace talks, and that the torpedoes came from Gorkin's cruiser, which was had the unique ability to fire its weapons while cloaked. So 2 questions. One, what is the ethics about the mind meld there, especially with Spock doing it? And two, how big of a development was this with the cloak ship firing the weapons?
So, well, I, do I have static? You getting buzz
Yes.
off of me?
Yeah, yeah, getting a bit
Yes.
of static.
Let me mute and I'll fix it here. Just a minute.
Okay, okay. Well, Daisy, do you want to take that question?
Okay, so the mind meld thing, I was not a fan. My husband and I were not fans. I mean, I realize it's what you have to do because you are short on time and that sort of thing. But I believe they showed in the movie how uncomfortable even the humans on the crew were with what was going on. Basically, he's just going into her mind and ripping out what he needs. And to get there, um, you don't know what all is going on in her head, so he can get to that information. That's had I'd never seen that done.
Right.
I
Right.
always seen a Vulcan ask before they did a meld. So this is the first time someone was no, don't do it, and yeah, we're going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not like the window drape connotation to that. If you get what I'm saying, because it's
Yep.
YouTube, and like what you said, Daisy, it was always like you're permitted or you're not. I
Hmm.
also thought, well, maybe they were rationalizing that as the fate of the
Mm-hmm.
Federation and the Federation president and all this stuff. Mm, I
Well,
Yeah.
see,
still have
let
a
me
rough time with it. I still don't like it.
Yeah. I
let
don't
me go
like it.
here because Kronos, thank you for using an I think I know what you're saying here, but it's kind of like a Vulcan mind rip, which I thought there was an ethical thing about doing that against somebody's will. Uh, with that, I mean, of course, this comes into the military thing of do you use your full arsenal? Do you play a Geneva Convention? This it does hit a really a true ethical debate, which I don't think really was addressed in here. I could see possibly people having struggling with that because here you go, a peaceful Spock, and then does that against somebody was weird, real. And yeah, you're right too. Spock was half human, so maybe that part of him come through. But he's always so about logic and reasoning and usually following the rules. Although we do see at the end of the movie when they're going out for the final last cruise, he does say, "Well, in human terms, I think I would say go to hell." You know, so maybe we're seeing more of a human side of Spock. I don't know, but it was
Well,
really an interesting type of thing. And hello to Shooter with the emu with the gun. Good to see you, Kim Cattrall, the hottest Vulcan ever. Okay, Daisy, go ahead.
um, they when um when the two of them when Spock is sort of saying, "Hey, I'm going to retire, and I would like you as my replacement," um, or as my Padawan, however, he does say, I mean, I'm trying to
This was eight
help.
years before that, so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It was, I know. Uh, he does say that logic, I can't remember the line exactly, but logic isn't the only thing. It's not the end.
But
Help me out.
it's not the end, but it's the beginning of wisdom.
That's it. Yes.
Hmm.
So, in that respect, I think Spock's old enough now that he's aware that he's half Vulcan, half human, and he's come to terms with that, and he's okay with that. And he's okay with what is good or bad about either of those two societies, which live inside of him. Um, I still think the mind meld thing was, I don't like it. But yeah, he is half human.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. That's the one thing that stuck out to me is that he would do it. It just seemed like it'd be controversial.
Now,
Yeah.
just think if he didn't have that ability and they tried to get the information from her, an interrogation, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I would like
Yeah.
to think that they would not do anything to her, like, torture to extract
Yeah.
information in,
Right.
in an enhanced interrogation, right?
Mhm.
I'm not going to say that any current day military is perfect on that,
Yeah.
but at least
Yeah.
in Starfleet, you would think that they would have that idealized set of protections, right? So
Yeah.
Yep.
when you think about it that way, what he did was totally out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they're going to say, what, the ends justify the means. I find that to be a poor argument, even if they were trying to
Mhm.
find the location of that, and they
Yeah.
were able to just contact Sulu and get the information anyway moments later.
Yep. Yep.
So
And welcome to
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Nation. Good to see you tonight. How are you doing? Yeah, that was something that struck to me out of Spock's nature and character. And but but I also see the pragmatist side of it of, hey, there's going to be a lot worse and a lot more deaths and stuff if you don't do what you got to get the information, which is always the age old question. What's right? I guess it depends on how you view and what the situation is at the moment and what your thoughts are. So basically what we have is then they find the location is Kittimer where the peace talks from.
oh, sorry
But at least,
to interrupt. The torpedo. You wanted to talk about the torpedo too, didn't
yeah,
you?
I'm coming up to that real quick.
Sure.
Yes, because because we find out where they are. Chang's his ship still cloaked, attacks both the Enterprise and the Excelsior, inflicting heavy damage. So then we get, leave it. Where would we be without women? Uhura, everybody's favorite lady, says, it's got to have a tailpipe.
Yeah.
Right? So I love the line though.
Ugh.
Doctor, would you care to perform surgery on a torpedo? And so they did it, which caused the explosion, highlighted, uncloaked the ship, and then Excelsior and Enterprise promptly destroy the warship. And then both crew from both the Excelsior and Enterprise beam to the conference, thwart the attempt on the president's life. We get to see Scotty shoot a gun and take out the sniper up there, who at first I couldn't tell if he was human or a Klingon, but his target was to take out the Federation president, who was, when I saw the opening credits, Kurtwood Smith, and I'm like, when I first saw him, I'm like, oh my god, it's that 70s show guy. I never realized it, but
Yeah.
he's there. And Hungry's here. Hey, Hungry. Good to see. And Cronus, I love the ending. I love the way they did it and herself. Oh, Brian Hepburn's here tonight. Hey, and he didn't like it himself. Spock used telepathic mind meld on Kalinda without her knowledge to control her by any other name. Oh, interesting. Oh, JT just wanted to change it up, I think. So
Yeah.
Oh, is this what? Oh, is it from Stunning and Brave?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. You should have
Yes.
said that earlier.
I
Stunning's
thought
here.
I did.
He
Oh,
did.
no. Oh,
That's why he was
Sorry.
saying that I'm looking sharp.
I'm so sorry. Oh, I got to clean out my ears.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's
So-
been one of those days, chat. It's just been one of those days.
Yeah, I started late, but I will say it is ending great with my great friends here. A great, some other things that I
Yep.
just got news on, and
Hungary is saying well done to
exactly
Stunning and Brave.
Stunning. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see how. So, the ending, we can take it in any order. What did y'all think with the ending before the final scene? With the torpedo, with the way they wrapped that up, destroyed the Chang ship, and then busted up where they found out all the conspirators, Admiral Cartwright, the Romulan ambassador, Chang, obviously. So, what y'all think with the way it ended?
Okay, so in regards to the ending, somebody in chat asks, which ending did they have for the reveal of who the assassin was in the theatrical version? It's the Klingon. In the theatrical version that I saw, it's the Klingon, not
Mhm.
Odo from Deep Space Nine.
Oh, because then here we get this because we had just talked about Worf also. What?
Yes.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that that was a rewrite later to go back to correct with the relationship because that's like I said earlier. I'm like, there's Worf before his. I the same character moving into the Federation days is what I thought, but hey,
Mhm.
so all right. Yep. So JT, what did you think with the way the ending came together there?
Gosh, so there were two things I really liked and two things I did not like on this. So the first the things that I like in Dadman, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea. Maybe it was. I liked the pew pew on that.
All right.
That it was not Star Wars ridiculous lasers all over the place pew pew.
Right.
That there was plenty of torpedoes going around, but it was plotting, and every torpedo mattered when it was fired.
Right.
And you
Right.
got to see progression of the battle with shields collapsing, Scotty was saying, and you got to see the panels with the shields changing and everything. And you did get some nice model work with the Excelsior class starship that Sulu was on getting hit as well. And so I did like that. I also liked when we had the actor with Chang just chewing up the scenery. I mean, it was insane when he was just spinning around in that chair. It was
Yes.
it was great. I love
Glorious.
that every time, and quoting
Christopher
Shakespeare
Plummer.
and stuff. Yes.
Christopher Plummer, what an excellent actor. I mean, all I could think of him was a creepy priest, well, not priest, but the creepy false religion guy from Dragnet. Ever since I saw that movie, I thought he was a creepy ass old man, but then I realized he's a brilliant actor in so many different roles. So but amazing where you see people.
Right. So yeah, I really loved every moment that he was on screen there, actually in that scene. The two things that I did not like, the first one was the fact that there are no phasers being fired at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a budgetary thing. Why are you only firing torpedoes? It just seems weird. Especially since we're so accustomed to seeing both of them being used at this point. I would have loved to see a little bit more dynamic action there. And again, I think it was a budgetary thing or a time thing that
they really wrapped up the ending, the space battle. They like boom, 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 and it's like, oh, done.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Oh man, that's fighting words. Plummer could outchew Shatner. Wow.
Oh, and hail to Lisa.
Lisa,
Hello, Lisa.
Welcome. Oh, Sound of Music. Oh, hey, I don't know. Maybe we'll sing later. You never know. But
the other thing,
Stacey may not be here. Go ahead.
The other thing that I didn't like was the mechanic of the cloak firing on the torpedo and the tracing it back. Yes, I found it incredibly. I'll just say it. I found some of the dialogue choices very patronizing, and some of the choices in this movie very patronizing to Star Trek fans. And I think they made Uhura look like a ditz in this film for
really effect. I didn't think so. I didn't. I especially the way she made the analogy with the tailpipe. I thought she was just being practical and commonsensical. Which part?
She's a senior bridge crew member, right? She holds significant rank on the, and she doesn't know how to speak Klingon in this movie.
Yeah.
And then she says, well, everything's got a tailpipe. No, everything doesn't have a tailpipe. I mean,
especially starships.
Exactly. How is it combusting to the point where it needs a tailpipe? The other thing on this was it would be fairly easy, I would surmise, to locate this bird of prey while cloaked if it is using its targeting sensors to fire the torpedo. Unless the torpedo has its own like fancy lock-on guidance thing, you would be able to
gas.
know where it is.
They were
right?
locking on the gas, like Kronos says.
Yeah, but
Yep.
wouldn't
Yeah.
the gas would not be in an orderly trail behind the ship. It would just be spraying in all directions at
Well,
the end of that tailpipe.
all you have to do is get close for government work. You get there and get the explosion, and it should reveal the location.
Yeah, and see,
And I did like this. I loved them fixing the torpedo, and I loved that line of, "Doctor, would you care to perform an operation on a torpedo with me?" I just love that. But Lisa does agree with you about her being silly. I didn't pick that up, but if you want to elaborate further, go ahead.
Sure. I would just say that, even in the 90s, they had different types of missiles that could lock on to, like if you're going after an anti-aircraft battery on the ground, for instance, you have missiles that go after radiation, aka your radar signatures, right? And they lock onto that radar signal and go right into the radar on your anti-aircraft thing, right? So just technology, I think, could have solved it. If they had actually had phasers, they could have just shot in random directions near where they saw the torpedo leave from and found this bird of prey pretty quickly. So I just, the dynamic of this kind of fell apart. It is neat, but you have to turn your brain off for it, which isn't necessarily Star Trek. It is more Star Trek movie than TV show, but I would give it a low score for science and technology.
After 5 p.m., I specialize in shutting down my brain and ceasing all functions. Unfortunately, my ears go along with it at times, so I don't hear half the stuff. That's why the missus has to repeat herself 40 times. I can't play dumb for too long. But Suter said O'Hara isn't a linguist, but Kirk knows the Klingon because he's a good captain and wants to know the enemy. Snorter Poopa says, let's have a science doctor and a doctor work on the torpedo. Apparently none of the engineers can do it.
Yeah.
So Lisa said, to be honest, the Klingons in this were pretty tame. They're usually hyper aggressive and gross. Well, I thought they were hyper aggressive with their Shakespeare. Let us the dogs of war and everything else, I
thought they were hyper gross at the dinner scene.
Yes, exactly.
Only when they were eating.
Oh,
that dinner scene is one of my favorite, though. The whole culture, they sit down and there's napkins with napkin rings on them, right? And the Klingons are looking at this like, the heck?
It's such a nice touch. It really is such a nice touch.
It was subtle and quick, and the whole dinner scene was great.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we've kind of gone through all the movie, I'm going to save the last scene for the very, very end. But basically, what other things to jump out to y'all? We made it through the general plot and, of course, the movie, some of my comments. But what have we missed that y'all would like to talk about? Either good, bad, or whatever. But I will still say it was so cool. And y'all might thought it was campy and everything else that Scotty the engineer got to use a phaser in action against the assassin. I thought it was awesome, but y'all might think it's trite or campy or whatever, but I liked it.
In the TV series, I've seen him shoot a phaser, so.
Well, okay, cool. Well, that's why I need to go back and watch the original series. I've watched the animated series, though. And I like the animated series.
Yes, but that was made in the 70s and I liked it too, and I was a kid, but it was very 70s. I try to be nice to an era I grew up in,
I was born in that era.
Yeah, well, you don't remember it very well then.
Oh, no, I do when I get Newzoo Review on DVD from Netflix in the old days, and then it's like, oh, kids, look, oh, this great thing, and it's like, oh my God, what did we do for entertainment back then? It was like hippie music, the trees, the birds, the damn guitar. And I was like, oh God, I'm like, all because of one theme intro and an elevator in a tree. But hey, I digress. What other scenes do y'all like in this movie that we may have skipped over, blown through, or there's something else that you want to expound on with this movie?
Oh, I've got several things I'd like to expound on for the film, but
Yeah.
I think the one scene, just to keep it to scenes, I guess for now, I
Well,
did.
actually, we can go to scene and anything else. So
Oh,
we've made
okay,
it through. So let's open it up. Let's
sure.
fire all your notes, and then towards the end.
Or Daisy, would you like to go first?
No, you can go first. I'm running
Oh,
through
okay,
my notes, right?
cool.
Turning pages in the background.
One of the things I did want to comment, I did like the soundtrack for this. I feel like it may be unappreciated by some, but I did just find it a
I
pleasant.
think we had a comment earlier
Mhm.
about somebody said about the score. So I'm
Yes.
going to try to find that
But
comment. Okay, go ahead.
yeah,
I did love the score overall. Much better than some of the other films. And
Much
yes.
much
mhm.
better than Michigan State football. Sorry, I'm sorry. Just
Oh,
correct you. Okay,
yeah,
sorry, JT.
I
Okay.
really liked right from the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm jumping over you, JT.
Go for it.
um, so right from the beginning, when you're so in 1991, when you're sitting in there, you're thinking, okay, are they going to use the original TV series one and try and work it in, or we have a new composer? What is? Show me what you got. And that whole opening thing was it had all kinds of things in it, like it was almost operatic. It had hints of military type marches in it, and it it I'm not, my words have all gone bye bye. It just really set you up for the movie and the changes in tone throughout the
Hmm.
movie and where things were going. When you go back after watching the movie and just listen to the opening credits, um, you can replay parts of the movie in your head. And really appreciated, I really appreciated that.
Hmm.
In
Okay.
the ending credits, not a music thing, but we'll go back to the music. I really liked that they all signed, all of the actors signed their names and however they would normally sign their, when they were giving an autograph, they all signed their names. I thought that was cool as a way to say goodbye to the cast.
Hmm. That's interesting. All right. Anything else, or JT?
JT didn't expand on the music.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't have deep notes on that. I just like it. Just no more than that. I like it. I
Yeah.
a well written score.
Burr is whatever Burr wants. He's got a wrench and he's a polar bear, and what he says goes. Yuppers. So, and hello, Pins Cat. Good to see you tonight, too. So, uh, Shooter did ask, did he bring up the patch Spock put on Kirk? How you can see? Oh, I never noticed that. I did see it's revealed how that he slipped a tracker on himself, and it was on the back all the time. And that comes the question: how did the Klingons not see it?
Yeah, why didn't they take their uniforms? Because they're not in Starfleet and you're ditching them
I
on
th-
this planet.
I thought it absorbed into him somehow, but
Oh, I thought it
there's no
stayed on
proof.
the.
Yeah, they don't really go into that too much. You have to
Yeah.
turn your brain off again for
Yeah.
that part.
And Putin's cat did like this, saw it in the theater. So hey, basically, and Snore Poop has had another quibble trivial referred to Valeris as lieutenant, but she wore the insignia of a lieutenant commander. And all rise, the judge has entered. Chief Judge Finity, how are you, sir? Welcome in tonight. All rise. We always say all rise. That's his official greeting on this channel. So, all
Ah.
right. Yes. So, like I said,
Mhm.
this time for y'all go in whatever order, what type of topics y'all want to bring out, because I think I've said everything I had, but I'll chime in as y'all bring things up.
I've got two big, I guess, topics or items I wanted to talk about on this movie. The first one, and I don't know how many other people are going to pick up on most of this, but I call this the ego movie, and that's because the people who had to have their own way to make this film actually get on screen. I Leonard. Well, first, Gene Roddenberry has a writer's credit. By 1991, when the movie comes out, he is not well, and I do not believe he was doing incredibly well when this movie was being written and shot. Okay, so
Mhm.
Leonard Nimoy has a prominent role in this. He
Mhm.
thinks himself an auteur. And then there's a third gentleman that I'm forgetting the name of that I think actually did most of the script writing for this, if I had to guess. But did we need Leonard Nimoy to write this thing? No. And if we had, a TARDIS to go back and see what happened in the writer's room, I don't think Leonard Nimoy helped this. Sulu is not in the crew because Sulu does not, Takai and Shatner do not get along.
Do not like each other.
So we're going to make Sulu captain of his own ship, so that way he doesn't have to be in the same shot as
Yes.
Yeah,
Shatner.
he wanted to be captain too.
Yeah. Now,
I mean, he's like, I want to be captain.
it was Leonard Nimoy, Lawrence Connor, and Mark Rosenthal. The story credited for the story.
And they gave Gina credit too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah. So, all right. And as Snort Poopa said, he died just before the premiere.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it
so
did
right there.
say for his in the beginning, it said I think it said for Gene Roddenberry, or rather than in memory of. So yeah, he passed.
Yeah.
So this was not a Gene script, not at all. So we had that dynamic. We had Sulu and we had Takai and Shatner not getting along, so they both had to be captains.
Mm-hmm.
You start watching this and you're like, man, this probably would have been a better movie if Sulu had not had to be a captain and be on his own ship and try to come and save the day. Come and save Bill Shatner at the end of this movie. That part was totally unnecessary. So, yeah, there is that, right? That I think by the end, this was probably the last movie anyway, because people's heads were so big. I don't think you could have gotten them for a seventh movie, even if you wanted to.
Nope.
In Daisy, if you have more to add on that, feel free to interject.
Brian, let me get Brian right here. Said the problem by the end here, they had 3 captains serving on board already. Can't make everyone a captain based on service.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was like the Oprah Winfrey captain show. Anyway,
you get a captain, and you get a captain,
right.
and you get a ship. Yeah. All right. Okay, Daisy.
Yeah, it was by that time. If you were a Star Trek fan, and even if you'd read any of magazines or you'd gone to the conventions, you were well aware that the cast didn't all get along anymore and did think quite highly of themselves individually rather than, hey, we have fans who like this product that we did and it's making us money and maybe we should play nice. It was more like, no, I'm not going to do this unless you give me this or that or the next thing. And that's kind of sad to hear about. You'd like to think these people could at least, they are actors. Can you not just all act like you like each other? No.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of part of the plot in what is it, Galaxy Quest?
Yes.
I love
Oh God, that movie is. If you're a Star Trek fan and you've ever been to conventions, my family had to watch that movie several times because we were laughing so hard we missed most of what was happening.
Yeah. See, I like what Chrono said. I like what Chrono said. I don't think like Hollywood. I think like a kid movie, and that's maybe why I like this type of movie. And I don't have the hangups that most of the normal. It's like me getting hung up on certain things in Star Wars. I'm not talking about Raid. I mean that's a big thing, but the little things that happen in Star Wars that hang me up. I can understand.
Like Darth Maul coming back around.
Yes, damn it! You want to? That's you've been warned. Normally, if Hunger is here, he'd be timed out for that comment. But hey, but yeah, exactly that type of thing. Or like Chief Judge Finity about the no time travel, so we can all be happy. Yeah, I know that time travel is a huge issue to a lot of people and stuff. Yep. Go ahead, JP.
So
Yeah.
my other big issue with this film, leaving this alone, because we could go on for forever about how they didn't like each other at different points in time. The outside of it being the ego movie, this movie was poorly executed with the budget, and I don't think was produced and directed well. And I say that not to be too mean, but I'm also kind of being mean. They spent a lot of money on CGI for the blood and different effects that they were trying to do. And then they shot most of this movie on the set of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And there's scenes like even in Kirk's quarters, he has a replicator from the Enterprise D. The hallways, when you open the door on Sulu or Kirk's ship from their quarters, is the hallway from the Enterprise D. Every single time they're in the corridors, it's the Enterprise D. The engineering scenes had to have creative photography work on this to not get the entire engineering section, main engineering, in the shot, because it was shot on the the set of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So they did not want to make that so apparent that that's what they did. But to the even moderately trained eye, you're like, oh, that kind of looks kind of familiar. Hey, wait a second.
Mhm.
And I just don't like that. I'm sorry. How much do these sets really cost at the end of the day? Really? And that's where you went to go film.
Yeah.
I thought it did a disservice.
Yeah. Okay. Daisy, do you have any other thoughts? Any other things important notes?
Well, I had a funny.
Okay, cool. We love funnies. Oh yeah, I thought I saw Christians later.
Yes.
Yes.
He did poke his head out there, Christian Slater. Being a Brit, the beginning of the movie, Sulu very daintily drinks his tea out of this very nice teacup and saucer, puts it down. Then, of course, they get hit with this shockwave, which was supposed to mimic the wave in the movie Poseidon Adventure. That's what they told the ILM people, to make it mimic that. He looks straight down at his cup of tea and watches it jitter all the way across the table and then lets it fall on the floor. I'm sorry. You should have saved the tea, Sulu. I will never forgive you.
There you go. Yes. Yeah.
But more serious, like I said, I really liked the dinner scene. There was so much interplay, and people like Chang specifically asked, like, Captain Kirk, are you willing to give up Starfleet? And everyone's trying to be nice and polite and diplomatic, and the whole table, everyone just got quiet and stared, and the captain doesn't say anything right away. And so Spock is like, well, I feel that the captain feels that Starfleet is about peace and all this. And then Captain Kirk comes in. Far be it for me to disagree with my first officer, or whatever he's called him. It was like, okay, you got me into this, Spock, and no, I'm not playing nice now.
Yes.
Right.
But that whole dinner scene. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I would agree. I actually think this is one of my favorite Trek movie scenes of all time.
Oh, wow.
Like, it is up there for me.
Oh, wow. The dinner scene. Yeah. Lisa's with you on the tea.
Acting.
Yeah. Lisa's in Snortopoopas too. So
Just
you got
not
sympathy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Well, hey, look, some traders still like the tea. Not everybody throws it in the harbor. Thank you. I got it.
Because you're ruining good tea by throwing it in the harbor.
Well, we're just trying
with you.
We're just trying to make the waters better, You
know what else ruins good tea, Daisy?
Yes.
Taxes without representation. That's tea.
Oh gosh.
Well, if you say so.
All right.
So drink your coffee and
Oh,
don't bother me. Although
yes, there you go.
I actually like coffee better, but I was like, I'm thinking, wait,
I
why did
did.
we
I did wait 200 years to tell that joke.
Yes, you
Yep.
did.
Yes. Snore Puma says one hope that Starship crews would have training in zero G operations and ships would still have some handholds in case gravity fails. So, yeah.
Yeah, there were other things. There were some very cool, like how they did a shot to make it not just look like they're hanging from wires, that they were on gimbals, that they had stuntmen. So when the two Klingons get fired at and they go flying down a hallway, the camera's actually on a floor and they're shooting it like upwards and they pull them back up into the top of it. So some of the technical things were cool for them to try to say, look, it really is zero G. But I was also thinking, this can't be the only ship that happens in. There must be a way to try to deal with we're floating around waiting for
Mm-hmm.
the gravity to come back on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the pink Pepto Bismol
I
blood all
I'll
over
never think of
everything,
that
right?
again with you with the Pepto Bismol. Hey, listen, Putin's cat. I'm always looking at the handles. There are in the back of an elevator. There usually are handles, but I always wonder if the elevator goes if I could grab onto it and hold on. But my brain works in weird ways. So, but hey, all right. While y'all think about anything else that y'all want to do before I want to hit the final scene, but I also want to talk about some of the casting. A couple thoughts that we have here. Shooter said, "I enjoy a lot of things when my peers don't because I can switch the higher brain off and watch." Yes, I agree. Many movies I have to do that too. Criticizing a movie, you lose that engagement and suspension of disbelief. Except I agree with that. Like in a movie like this, I could deal with it. But some movies, like the last Beetlejuice was like Mrs. and I just started talking at the end. We had nobody around us, so we are polite in the movie theaters. But the last 30 minutes of that movie, we were just like talking to each other, like, what is wrong? The Flash was another one. We're like, forget that. We no matter what. We couldn't even take in artificial products to make us even enjoy anything that was a Flash in the last 30 minutes. So I sometimes it happens where you create, but I do agree with you. Like the Marvels, though, I will tell you, I enjoyed the Marvels movie. Not the best. Everybody, maybe it's not canon or whatever, but by standards of other modern movies, was not a bad movie. I mean, comparatively. But then again, it's like comparing rolls of toilet paper. Some are better than others. And Brian
Some
Kemp,
are objectively better than others.
exactly.
Yes.
So Khan did say it has been said that social occasions are only warfare concealed. Many prefer it more honest, more open. And he thought it played back to that in his mind.
Ah,
Yeah. Interesting. I forgot that he had said that. But yeah,
I did too.
that does bring up context for the dinner
Yeah.
scene for
Yeah,
sure.
good night, Brogu. Yeah, because that is interesting. I don't have that history or the recall, but hey, but I think it's really cool. That's why I like talking to you Trek people because I learn I learn better from other people and something else, and it helps bring me along. I like the comics. I like the other stuff from people that are friends that I know. Hey, I do in Fortnite also.
Yes.
Yes, the more bimbos, the better. And I love all my lady friends that play Fortnite with me.
So, Deadman, the scene that we didn't really cover over in length that I love was
go
the
ahead.
courtroom scene.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That scene is actually copied in Star Trek Enterprise again because it was done so well. I love that they open up with Chang talking in Klingonese.
Mm-hmm.
And then you cut to, you have the translators, like it's the UN. Obviously, that's what they were trying to do, right? And then after, a sentence of the translator, it goes to him just Chang talking in English.
Right.
I thought that was cool. It just very well done. And I do like the McCoy quip when they ask him how he's doing, and outside of a touch of arthritis, not bad. And then they have somebody laughing in the gallery or in the jury, whatever it may be up there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I love the judge costume holding that metallic ball as well.
Yes. Yes.
Just nice notes all around how they shot it, the different camera angles, the silhouetting with and holding up that translator microphone or headset thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, to their ear. Yeah.
Yes. And then I believe at one point they even copied a Khrushchev line. Don't wait for the yes or no, don't wait for the translation. Which I liked. So.
Well, yeah,
wow.
that whole how they filmed that whole scene was very cool. I mean, just it's like weird in a way. It's so what they were doing was so a U.S. court is open. They're bright. It's bright. It's sun. The sun comes in, or there's lights, and you can see everybody clearly, and all that kind of stuff, very organized. This was in the shadows. You've got this light beaming down on you. Both of you were on trial at the same time, and yeah, you have a lawyer, but we don't care what Worf has to say. And
Yeah.
the way they were trying to get that across was, I just thought that it was very well done.
Oh gosh.
With that, either Kirk, go ahead.
Snarl Poop said that was Ally Stevenson, the unit who said that particular line. Yeah, and the Klingon part was really cool.
Right? It was, yeah.
Oh gosh. That's interesting. All right. Anything else, Daisy?
I did think what they did on Rura Pente when they got, okay, you don't get the death sentence. We're just going to put you on this planet where you're going to die. Some of that was, I thought the quipping between the Doctor and Bones and Kirk, some of it was cute. Some of it was like when they were talking about Kirk was saying change is very, very hard. Some people were afraid, and I was really, really afraid. So it started to dawn on him that maybe peace might be an okay option rather than holding all of this anger and frustration. I hate all Klingons because a couple of them killed my son, which I think you can understand as a parent. But that's not all of them did that. And, that wasn't, the Chancellor was trying to, here's an olive branch. Let's try to make peace, even if it's because we kind of have to, our world is coming to an end. It's still, let's try to make peace. And the old warriors were like, no, don't want to do that.
And see, that's why I felt it was believable the way they set that up and through the whole movie and the ending. I
thought it went too fast, but I just appreciated these two people are known each other for decades in the show timeline, and so they would talk to each other that way. They would be open with each other. They would quip about things. They would, and so I liked that banter between the two of them. I also think that Iman, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Yes, Iman.
Shifter.
Yeah.
I think this is probably going to be controversial. I think she, as a model turned actress, was better than Ilea from the motion picture.
Oh yeah. Iman, Iman was always a great actress. She is our Mrs. David Bowie.
Yeah, I know Mrs. David Bowie.
Yeah, but yeah. See, we talk about Banner. I gotta annoy my friend Hungry out there. Lisa says Klingons are my least favorite villains. I say the Salt Shakers are my least favorite villains. Exterminate. We'll sprinkle salt on you. Sorry, that's.
Know who my least favorite villains are?
Darth Maul.
The witches from the Acolyte.
Oh God. The power of many.
Did you actually watch that? I'm not okay.
Oh
I mean,
no,
okay.
no,
Don't
no!
ask.
I had better things to do.
Daisy, I think did she was singing that
I
one.
only
But,
watched part of it because everyone was talking about it, and I'm going, okay, I got to get some context. I watched like 5 minutes and went, that's enough context. I'm out.
I
Yeah,
know it.
that's about what I did.
I know a streamer that was going to do like remember watch parties with that. Like that's how I saw the Acolyte, and it became like MST3K in the private chat and stuff. It was fun. They tried that with well, not Acolyte, Ahsoka, but with the Acolyte they tried it. I think after the first episode they gave up. They're like, this thing is so bad we can't
Yeah,
do it.
chat was
See it work.
funny in Ahsoka. I had this similar experience where someone was doing a watch party for Ahsoka, and yeah, the chat was hysterical.
Yeah,
but with the Acolyte, it's like at some point it's so bad it's bad and not funny. I mean, it's just you can't. There's no material here to even be funny with.
Exactly. Like Lisa here, trying to be funny. No, in Fortnite, yes. With the Lady Posse, yes, but not. Oh gosh, Acolyte was horrible. And hello to the great state of New Jersey. It's a great West Kegel. Star Trek 6 is his second favorite of the 10 real Trek films. Well, please do tell us what your favorite of the Trek films is.
It's probably Khan, if I had to guess, or TMP. Yeah. It's always one of those two.
Kronos and Acolyte and the Acolyte TV show, they came out with a light whip saber. I believe they are technically in the canon, I think, but not the way they're being used now.
Story.
Yeah, but yep, Wrath of Khan, you got it. So
Dadman, I'm going to need some help here on this one from Daisy, being that she's, the Brit, at least in partiality here, right? The whole title of this movie is The Undiscovered Country.
Correct.
And Gorkin toasts to the undiscovered country, right? I believe he's the one that does it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you haven't picked up on it throughout the movie, this film was really trying to quote Shakespeare quite a lot, give some reverence to the author. Yeah. But the undiscovered country is from Hamlet, right? And my recollection, and I am not a Shakespeare expert, so please nobody confuse me for one, was that the undiscovered country in Hamlet was about what happens after one passes away.
Correct.
And so what Hamlet is invigorated to take action because he is frightened of the unknown about what happens after you die. Okay, in his view, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So my whole thing on this is it's easy if you don't know that to think that the undiscovered country is looking towards the future.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what the Chancellor says, the future.
I thought that at first, but I also was wondering if he was really toasting to what happens after one dies.
I don't think so. I took it hardcore. I took it hardcore that it was where they're going, because they kept talking. We had to talk about the generation to be the hardest to accept earlier in the movie. There, I think in that last scene, Kirk is talking about people are afraid, this and that, which gave me the strong illusion that the undiscovered country is setting aside warfare and conflict for peace in the future and getting along, coming together, kumbaya, putting our differences down. That's the way I took the undiscovered country, heavily on what Kirk was saying at the end.
Well, it is odd in the movie because he makes the toast and he says to the undiscovered country, and everyone, Klingons and humans and Vulcans and whoever else might have been there, were like, what? And then he stopped for a while, and then he went, the future. And they all went, oh, the future. And I was thinking, okay, well, I don't know what his first toast, what he was thinking in his mind. because he just assumed everyone would understand what was in his mind, but
Mhm.
everyone didn't. There was this very long pause of like, well, what does that mean? And then he goes, okay, the future. And then, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Because,
Go ahead.
yeah, I don't. Go ahead, JT.
Yeah, I was going to say because once you realize if the people that were writing that part were clever enough to have read Hamlet again, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
knew the story of Hamlet. I assume between all of them, one of them had at least done that work.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, why did Gorkin say that? And then he realized nobody was hinting at it. Was this an analogy of the Last Supper for him? And is it a religious thing that's going on here because he knew that his time was over and that people were out to try and end him? Perhaps. Don't know if
Could
they would have
be.
done that, especially if Leonard Nimoy was writing. Don't know.
Yeah.
But
The other thing is, he could have
yeah.
been alluding to, because he does say that it's to Kirk, it's our generation that's going to have the hardest time with this. And yet they're the ones in charge. So how much of a change can I make before I'm no longer here?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Or simply he's afraid of what's going to happen when he's no longer the chancellor, because
Yeah.
chancellors in the Klingon Empire tend not to live super long throughout canon, right? What he is scared about what's going to happen when he dies and what's beyond that, and maybe that's why he wants to have a different path and a different way. There's many other things in there, and it all depends on, did they actually read did they
The
actually
whole
read Hamlet?
thing. Yeah.
Yes. Did they understand it? Did they read it? And so that's why I it's an interesting thought contemplation every time I watch this movie.
Yep.
Which avenue I'd like them to take on that, I guess.
Yep. All right. So we're going to start to wrap up here. Any last thoughts that y'all, before we get to a couple things I want to hit on the way out? Daisy or JT? Oh, I like this. Gorka was supposed to visually resemble Lincoln, and his name was based on Gorbachev. That's
Yeah. I had heard that.
Like a Glasnost perestroika type thing
Glasnost.
for Gorbachev?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It is interesting. I heard pages turning, so I'm trying to find something real quick. That is interesting that you said that, because I'm trying to find the chancellor. Daisy, did you have anything else? I heard pages turning, or
No, you were going to. I was going to wait to hear what you wanted to bring up here at the end about the.
okay. Here we go. I want to try to see if I can get this image up here. Here we go. Here, because see, this not the best image necessarily, but it will. I think it'll get to the point that was being made. There is his physical features. See, it's supposed to look like Gorbachev. Visually resemble Lincoln. Visually, but the tall thing.
No, that's the Federation president. They're talking about Chancellor Gorkin.
Oh, Gorkin. Okay, dang it. I got him confused. My bad. Sorry. All right. What do I want to do out you guys? But I tell you,
they definitely alluded to that.
Actually seeing his his picture, the actor's picture, I can actually understand that now. So that's really cool. So, all right. Well, what I want to do here is towards the end, there are a couple actors. Of course, I just showed one right here. The great Kurtwood Smith, who, when I watched it just recently, I was like, oh, that's that guy. I mean, it was like, I'd seen this movie several times. I never made the connection with the actor. So it was interesting to see that. But there were actually other people that were in this movie too. Let's see if I can get back on this screen. I need to be. It'd help if you hit the right button. All right, but there were other actors in this. Of course, we know the original crew. We talked about Kim Cattrall. Brock Peters was Admiral Cartwright. Christopher Plummer, who we talked about too, has been in so many things I've learned since this. I did not know he did more than just Dragnet. David Warner. I've seen him in other stuff. Michael Dorn, obviously, who apparently I thought was Worf in this, is something else.
A
John
different Worf.
Yeah,
A different Worf, yes.
yeah, and John Shuck was one of the Klingon ambassadors. If you've seen him, you know he's appeared in things like MASH and other things. Very distinctive looking individual. It was really interesting to see a number of the famous actors that got in this that were not the original cast. But there's one that I really want to focus on: Grace Lee Whitney. Grace Lee Whitney. Actually,
blonde, she had short blonde hair.
JT would love it. Born in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yes.
Boo.
So,
Boo.
but where's Bucky when you need her? But basically, in this, she played. She actually was in the original Star Trek.
Yes.
Playing Yeoman Janice Rand. So she appeared in this movie also. Also, she was in what 1, 3, 4, and this one 6 as and had her kiss as a communications officer on the bridge. So in the Excelsior. I mean, did y'all recognize her from the earlier movies or the original show when you saw her in this?
I don't believe I did.
Quite a bit. Yeah, her facial features looked familiar. I think I had to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had been a while, and so she had changed from the original series.
Yeah.
You know, some people look kind of, they don't change too much even when they do get older, and some people do. So I thought I knew her, but I didn't recognize her right away.
Well, here's a shot of her in the original series.
Yeah, the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I watch that, I go, excuse me, woman, how do you get I'm sorry. You've got a wig on top of your head. Yes, of course it is. But it was supposed to not be. And so my brain was trying to figure out, how would you do that to your hair?
Yeah, and we kind of talked about the Worf. It's the Worf thing because Wes Cagle had asked about that too. I'm just trying to see if I can find a picture of her in the movie to see to show.
I think if you go on, when I just Googled the movie itself on Google and then went to cast, I think there was an updated photo of her in there. Because her hair is still blonde but shorter.
Oh, here's a more modern picture of her here. See here. Hello, Emily, over on the Twitch side, saying hello to you, Daisy. Emily,
hello,
good to see you.
Sorry, I wasn't looking up at Twitch chat, and so I do apologize.
Hey, we had somebody slide in there. Make sure you hit the like button on YouTube side. But this is her.
And in the movie, her hair's a bit shorter than that, I think.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but hey, Hungry said, to be fair, wigs for women common up until 73 or so. Many women had 2 out on the down wigs, so hair pieces were fine.
Yeah.
So
it's okay, Wes Cagle. We don't mind repeating. Go ahead.
Rene Auberjonois, I can never say the last name on him right. That played Odo in Deep Space Nine was
you should have heard me.
Deep Space Nine guy.
You should have heard me trying to pronounce his star. It was Hugo Odo. I was like, I know. Hungry was like laughing because I couldn't remember it right. But yeah, go. Sorry, JT. Go ahead.
So yeah, Odo was in this movie, but Brock Peters, who played Admiral Cartwright, is also in this movie, and he plays Captain Sisko's father in Deep Space Nine. So you have 3 actors from this movie that later are in Deep Space Nine. If you don't, if you don't count, randoms, I guess, in the background. But so this was a star-studded cast.
Yes,
all
it
around.
was.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's cool. Oh gosh. I still got it. And yes, I loved Odo. That Renee was really a great actor, and he was even in Police Academy Miami Beach. That's what I loved with it so much is when you see people like that. And so all right, well, let's wrap up. We're going to wrap up by talking about the final scene and rate it. I thought it was a great send-off with you get to see all of them less Sulu on the final send-off. He was in the last scene on the Excelsior, but the final scene with the original crew is less Sulu. You have them flying, going off into the mission, violating the rule. You're just taking a joyride one last time. We see our main cast together with their crew, and I love. I said it earlier, but when Kirk looked at Spock and said, "Well, what do you think?" and then Spock said, "If I were human, I would think the words would be go to hell."
If I were human, yes,
yeah, yes. I thought it was a great and one last Spock humor.
Yeah, and he raised the eyebrow. He did the perfect eyebrow raise. And the whole yep.
What are your thoughts on that final scene as the final scene that we have with the original crew?
Right on the ship?
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Like, I mean, for a final with all the cast together, I mean, was it a good goodbye? Because us Star Wars fans never got the goodbye to our original actress we wanted.
No kidding.
It was Return of the Jedi.
Well, yeah, you're right. It has to end at Return of the Jedi. Yes, true. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for that reminder. But when they redeveloped it, hey, Simply Steve, yes, and that great line, second star to the right, the callback to Peter Pan. And that's just what's you two are the real Star Trek people. How did this end? Was it a satisfying final scene going off into the long good night?
Not for me. I don't like the callback to Peter Pan.
Okay.
Kirk saying second star to the right, straight on till morning. I do not like that. Probably because I had watched the Disney animated movie of Peter Pan way too many times before seeing this movie that I'm like, well, Peter Pan, what? Like, no. And so it still never does it for me. I know it's what's supposed to symbolize that, represent that Kirk is still a kid at heart and still young, even though they're going in for the decommissioning of the ship and the retirement of the crew. I still just, it rubs me the wrong way. They could have done far worse endings than this, and I don't know if I'd ever get a satisfactory ending. So would it meet that impossible bar? No, but it wasn't bad. I just, it's not my favorite.
Yeah, Kirk, Scott, and Chekhov return for the beginning of Generations, but it is the last time when we have all of the original crew together. Yeah, Daisy, go ahead.
I took it to be throughout the movie they'd been doing Shakespeare, and if you know anything about Shakespeare, everybody dies. Don't get attached to anybody when you start reading Shakespeare because they're done. And the whole war thing and everything, and so then it was just another literary thing thrown in from something that was more positive, childlike. So it was okay. I'm with JT. I'm not quite sure how you would pull that off to make a perfect ending. But it was okay. It was okay.
Mm-hmm. I just was curious because I could understand it. Everybody's a bit different. So yeah, the journey could only go so long and peeps have their opinions. And that's what we do on this channel. We are not echo chambers. You have the right to like or hate something as much as you want or whatever, for whatever reason, except Darth Maul died. Lisa, JT, Masters, all y'all stop that crap. I'll have to ban y'all or do something disciplined.
So I agree with
laser whips.
I agree with Shooter when he said it's bittersweet. This is the last time, but it was a good journey. Yes, very well said. I was
just going to say that, Daisy. Yes.
Yep. That's what I was trying to babble.
My thoughts.
Okay.
Very well.
Brian said they did Out There That Away in the motion picture, so I could see wanting something more meaningful for this ending.
It's true.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Dang it. Thank you, Stunning. Somebody's got my back. Dang straight. Stunning is right. You go check out his art. Like that JT avatar is Stunning's handiwork right here, folks. So
Oh
check
yes.
Stunning.
check if
It
you
is
need work
gorgeous
done.
avatar. It's
If you need
gorgeous work.
artwork done, this guy, listen, this guy is the best artist on all of YouTube to me. He'll say no. There are others. Bull. This guy does great work by hand. And I tell you, he did something for Aang. He did something for the Mrs. Mine anniversary. Top notch guy. JT, can you find Stunning's look and put a link and put his link to his channel out there for us? Because
On
I
it.
tell you,
Yep.
yeah,
We also
absolutely.
need Mrs's link. I don't know
Yes,
how to do it. I'm sorry.
yeah. JT, if you can do both of those links as
Sure.
we start to wrap up, I appreciate it. So, exactly, Lisa. They just brought him back to sell more red double bladed lightsabers. So, hey,
Well, they shouldn't have killed him off in the first place. He was a good bad guy, but that happens a lot in movies.
yep. Yep, and there's Stunning's link if you want to see it. He's also got links to other stuff if you follow him on Twitter. He does commission. So, oh yeah, Brian, more like his dating life is dead from the hips down. Oh my gosh, Wes Cagle, we worked in New Jersey, and here Maul is alive and well in New Jersey with the rest of the arseholes.
Okay.
And of course the misses. And I tell you what, folks, I will tell you. Appreciate go look at check out Stunning and also the misses, and I appreciate y'all helping her and all. And I'm going to put another link out because she's working to get 500 subscribers to monetize. Well, what you don't realize is people do not have to be monetized on stream on YouTube or Twitch to be able to be paid. Uh, um, uh, you can also do it for other sources. I'm about to put the link here on
Ko-Fi.
Ko-Fi. Yes, Ko-Fi right here, where you can do a one-time donation. You can do a monthly donation. I think she's got one monthly supporter, and if you like what she does, even if you like what I do, I'm not monetized. I will not be monetized. There is a yes, and I think that's kind of what they call buy me a coffee, but I won't monetize. But if you like, support her for me. She so far she got a laptop computer to be able to go remote, which we have done several times, and other things, and help her out and just send her some love and appreciate it. Hey, Vigilante Williams, good to see you today. Yeah, and go Big Blue. Sorry, JT. Sorry.
Yeah. Are you though? Are you though?
Well, I got to keep
Is
my
this some
wonderful
college
co-host.
football thing, you two?
Yeah, I got to keep my co-host happy, otherwise she'll come after me. So
Go Niners. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did I
Oh,
say that out loud? I'm so sorry.
They didn't do so hot. Yeah. Yeah.
no,
They didn't
I
do
had
so hot last
no.
night.
This is
but
the
no.
official Dallas Cowboy channel, even though they stink so bad. So hey, Daisy.
Oh, you were resorted. Yeah. There
Yeah.
we go.
I just had to deal with that because we do. Look, I'm bad. The Cowboys are bad enough with a well-assed, overpaid quarterback. Oh my gosh,
We played. I don't.
Wait.
I don't. The last two. I don't know.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. The last game. I've been a Niners fan for decades. This last game, there have been other periods of time when it's been tough to be a Niners fan. I watched that game and just went, "Why did I bother watching this?"
At least you're not a Cowboys fan where they're even losing in the playoffs in the regular season at home.
No,
And
I'm
they
definitely not
overpaid a
Cowboys
quarterback.
fan.
They overpaid for a quarterback that does not deserve half the money. I do. Oh, anyway.
Okay, back to Star Trek.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. JT.
Shall
What
we
were
give
we
our
talking
ratings?
about?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What would y'all
Shall we
rate
give our
this?
ratings?
What should you rate it? Because I do it on the popcorn buckets. Daisy, how would you rate this one? On
Oh no,
whatever?
I don't want to go first.
Yeah, you don't want to go first. Okay, JT, you're it.
Yeah, I give it a warp 9 out of 10, maybe even warp 9.2 out of 10, or like a high A minus. I know people think I was pretty critical of this episode in the chat, perhaps, or
Yeah.
this movie in the chat, but I only, was some of those things I was really nitpicking. Other things, it's disappointing, but I look past it because I like the movie in so many points. I love Plummer in this, and just there's so many nice things. The dinner scene, the court scene, the not gulag planet, it's my second favorite after Wrath of Khan. So
right.
Yep, and to all the TMP people, sorry, but this is number 2 for me.
Yeah.
All right, Daisy.
I would go with that as well. I'd give it right on the border between a B plus and an A minus. And since I'm a nice teacher, I'll give them the A minus.
All right. All right.
Wrath of Khan. The Wrath of Khan was A plus plus with extra credits. So.
See, Wrathcon definitely was A. This one is about an A. It's up on that level, but I think I still enjoyed this one a little bit more. But I would give it 4.5 out of 5 popcorn buckets. So, and the jumbo size popcorn bucket. So, well, that's what we have on the Undiscovered Country. So, and yes, Lisa's out here giving me a hard time for the Cowboys. Of course, they are they are always subjugated annually in the playoffs by the Green Bay Packers. But Vigilante comes in. Dakota Rain Prescott worth every penny. Lions fan, LOL. Yeah. And Hungry loves that. He loves your laugh, Daisy. So I tell you that all the time. All right. Empty or full popcorn buckets, Kronos. This was a good one.
With
extra butter.
I was going to say extra butter and a month's worth of salt in the flavoring in there too.
What your doctors do not want you to have. But
yes.
Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Like I told you, we do have a hurricane coming into Florida Thursday. How strong it will be, we do not know. We pray for everybody in the path. So we're not doing a stream tomorrow night for sports. Maybe this week will be up in there a little bit, see how things go. Of course, every time I go live, it's usually at random and things like this, except for some of these scheduled streams. So remember, no sports tomorrow night, but I think in probably about an hour and a half, depends when I can get to my mom's house, the secret location, and get set up. Hungry and I will be going live again, I think, as long as he's still around. And we,
what do you mean as long as he's still around?
Awake. So
okay,
I know. What?
Sorry, the rumors of his demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Gotcha.
So absolutely. So folks, hey, thank you for your support. Like I said, go support the missus if you can. Remember 10 o'clock in the morning, she will be live doing her show tomorrow. She may do it on Thursday also, as long as we have power. We're in a good spot theoretically, but like everything else, you just don't know what happens, and every storm is different. And but what I know is the people that will be near the center of the storm could be very adversely affected. So, all right. Oh yes, we're going to talk about War of the Worlds later. So if you like that, come join us for a bit of conversation. And well, he said he's willing to do both, even the Tom Cruise, who's 6 foot tall, by the way, version 2. But we're going to talk in more the 50s version, I think. And really what I want to talk about sometime is if people have experience or know about the whole radio dramas, that cause panic all around the world. Mm-hmm. That's just so fascinating how that happened. And but you can see it. And we'll delve into that a bit. So, but on that note, everybody have a great night, great day. JT, thank you again. Daisy Blossom, thank you as always. And our movie for next month, I will go ahead and say the next 2 months. Next month, we will be talking about Independence Day, the 96 version, the one that actually people like. Mm-hmm. And in November, on a different night we have to arrange, we will be talking about Independence Day Resurgence, the one that people don't like. So
I like it.
Exactly. I liked it too. That's what I want to do with Daisy, talking about it, because everybody bashes it and stuff. And I actually think it was a little bit underplayed. I really wish they'd have brought Will Smith back, and there's some things with that. And hey, Astromo, good to see you tonight. Hope y'all are safe. Yeah. It's going to be somewhere between us and them over in Alabama. So looks like it's going to be more than projections have it Tallahassee or just east of Tallahassee. So, but we will see what happens. You always do not focus on the I'm not the expert. I've watched all this stuff, but get your updates from the real National Hurricane Center, your local meteorologist, and those are your experts. Listen to them. And any evacuations, authorities say. But remember, this storm could be bigger than the state of Florida. I saw one image that the winds could go out 400 miles. So you're going to get something somewhere. So, it's not, just always be prepared because it's subject to jots, jiggles, and things at any moment. So, all right. On that note, thank you again, Daisy, JT, and everybody. Y'all have a great night. I'll catch you later. Bye, all.
Bye.
Bye.